I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is one of those episodes where I'm hoping that all my thoughts come together into a cohesive message, so bear with me. But for the last 2 weeks, have just been really feeling the pull to share this. And you know that I'm always here for open and honest conversations. And the last 2 weeks for me have been some of the hardest that I've had in a really long time. And it's how life just kind of goes, where everything just happens all at once and you really feel your capacity stretched in so many different ways. So not only have things been happening in life, but things have also been happening in business. If you can't tell from my voice, I'm a little bit sick. My whole family's been sick for the last 2 weeks, and for the last 2 weeks, my baby has been up 7 or more times per night. That's not an exaggeration. I wish it was. And I am running on such little sleep and broken up sleep, and I am sick on top of that. And then my business on the other side of things, I have had more disgruntled customers, and I've had 3 disputes, which is more than I've had the entire year. And I also am just dealing with a lot of questions from new customers that have come in from Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which is great, obviously. But I'm getting so many emails about, how do I access this? Or I can't log in, or where is this? Or, just lots of questions, which all of them don't take up that much time. But like when you look at your inbox in the morning and you see, 75, 100, 150 emails, and they're all emailed, like they're not like the junk emails that you just like go through and you just like delete and get rid of them. They're like the emails that you actually need to spend time responding to. It becomes overwhelming, right? And that's on top of all these things that I'm, trying to navigate in life and trying to just survive because I'm on such lack of sleep. And I'm so grateful for my assistant. She has taken a lot of that off my plate, and I'm so grateful for her. I've just been like saying please handle this, please handle this, please handle this. So I'm so grateful for her. That being said, though, like it's just a lot, and I do feel my capacity stretching. And then of course, it's the end of the year, starting a new year, and this is a time where a lot of reflection is happening for me, as well as probably for you, where you're looking back at your year and you're saying, okay, did I accomplish my goals? Why did I not accomplish my goals? Especially if you're in that scenario of like, I did everything that I could. And I really just threw it all out there on the table, and like, why am I not where I want to be at? And then you're moving into a new year, trying to set new goals, and you're like, how do I set these goals, and what is realistic, and all of this. And so that is where I've been at, these last few weeks. And for whatever reason, and this is so weird because things like this don't often stick with me, but I remember listening to a podcast episode many years ago, and I actually went back and got this podcast episode for you, and I pulled a transcript from it, and that I'm going to read to you here in just a second. But this was in 2022. I haven't listened to any episodes of this podcast. She no longer records on this podcast. It's the Chillpreneur podcast by Erin May Henry, and she's really awesome. And I had the opportunity actually to be inside of a mastermind from her, and she's absolutely amazing. But I listened to this podcast episode. It had to have been in 2022 because that's like the last episode that I even listened on her podcast. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to get to is I remembered this episode the other day. I was sitting and I was, reflecting and kind of, not gonna lie, wallowing in like my self-pity of like, why has this not happened yet? For this year, I was like, this is going to be my $1 million year. I'm going to hit $50,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue. And like, just all these things that I have had as goals actually for the last 3 years. Those have been my 2 big goals for the last 3 years. Every year I've set that same goal. This is going to be my $1 million year. I'm going to hit $50,000 minimum in monthly recurring revenue. And as I'm saying this, it's like mid-December. So like in 15 days, could I hit $50,000 in monthly recurring revenue? Yes, I definitely could hit that goal for sure. So I'm not putting that one out. But $1 million in revenue, like that is like so far not going to happen this year. So it's like, okay, moving into 2026, what goal do I set this year? Okay, well, I'm going to set $1 million in revenue again for the 4th year in a row. So like, that's kind of like where I've been sitting with. And for whatever reason, this podcast episode came to my mind. And what came to my mind wasn't the exact transcript of this, but I actually had to go back to this podcast episode. I spent a lot of time digging through her podcast episodes to find this specific one that I had remembered. But basically what came to my mind was like, you're not ready for that level yet. And that was a hard pill to swallow. But also at the same time, with everything that's been happening in the last 2-3 weeks in my business, I feel that. Like the payment disputes coming through sent me for a whirlwind. All these disgruntled customers, just like I've realized that I'm not ready for that next level yet. Like not only mentally and energetically am I not ready for that and all the things that come with it, but also like my systems are not ready for that yet. There's more that I need to be handing off to my team, more that I need to be delegating, more that I need to be automating. And so it was a good like reminder of that's why I'm not where I want to be yet, is because I'm not actually ready for that level. And if I were to get to that level of $100,000 a month, which actually technically $1 million is like $86,600 a month or something like that. If I were to get to that level, I wouldn't be able to sustain it. And I would probably also burn out because again, like I was saying, I just don't have the capacity mentally, energetically, systems wise to hold everything that comes with that. Because if I'm sitting here with disgruntled customers and disputed payments, like all those things, and I don't want to only focus on the bad because of course there's so much good that comes with scaling your business as well. But like for me, that's what I'm thinking about because that's what I've been navigating these last few weeks. But I'm thinking about if I'm navigating this at this level, how many more disgruntled customers, how many more disputed payments am I going to be navigating at that next level? And how many more, tech questions and how many more, like there's going to be, it's more, right? Because in order to hit that next level, I need more customers or repeat purchases or, it's like I need more visibility. I need more email subscribers. Like there's more things that come with that. And it's not to say that like you're always on this constant journey of trying to find more and more and more in order to scale your business. That's not the case. All this to say, hopefully stick with me here. You just haven't learned the lessons that you need to learn yet and set up the things that you need to set up in your business to be able to hold the next level sustainably. And that might be a really hard pill to swallow, but it's better to swallow it at the level that you are currently at than moving into that next level and not being able to sustain it and trying to sustain it and burning out or hitting it and then dropping back down. And then you're like, then you feel even worse about yourself because you're like, I've hit it once now. So now why am I not doing that? And then you're going to try to work more and more and more and more and add on all these more and more and more things, right? And make it more complex to hit that next level when that's not what's needed at the end of the day, right? And so the question that I want you to ask yourself here isn't, well, number one, don't ask yourself, why am I not at that next level yet? I think the answer is simple, which is that you haven't learned the lessons that you need to learn yet. So maybe asking yourself, what are the lessons that I need to learn? That's a better question to ask for sure. But also asking yourself, how can I make making money at the level that I'm at right now even easier? Such a different perspective shift there. Let me repeat that. How can I make making money at the level that I'm currently at even easier? So for me, I'm at $50,000 per month. How can I make making $50,000 a month even easier? What are the things that I need to do? What are the things that I need to set up? What are the things that I need to delegate, automate? What are the things that I need to do to make that even easier? And how can I learn from the lessons that are being presented to me in my business right now so that when I do get to that next level, it's sustainable for me? Now, let me read, and this is from her transcript, and so the transcript is obviously like her talking, so it's not like perfect, but let me read what this podcast episode said because it's so good. She said, "What I'm trying to say here is that success takes time. Slow down, you're doing fine." And this was again back in 2022 and actually remembered this song, but there was a reel that said you can't be everything that you want. It said you can't be everything you're supposed to be before your time. And she said, I think that's so true. Trust your journey. She says, every single thing, every single challenge or thing that's not working or moment of frustration is there to help guide you. It's there to help you grow. Trust me, you do not want the fast success, because you're more likely to end up worse off than where you were in the first place, than if you were just to grow slowly and sustainably and trust your own process and trust your own journey and trust that every single lesson and challenge that is supposed to happen on your way. Because everything that's happening to you now is setting you up with a skill, a characteristic, that's not a word, a characteristic, trait, or new belief that you're going to need in the future. So this is what I was remembering the other day. Super random, again, that I was remembering this, but this is what I was remembering, is her saying this. And she goes on to say that every single thing that's happening to you now is supposed to happen so that you can become who you need to be to handle the success that you want in the future. Ooh, that is so good. Every single thing that's happening to you right now is supposed to happen to you so that you can become who you need to be to handle the success that you want in the future. And she goes on to say, because think about it right now, who you are today and who you are with the limiting beliefs, the self-doubts, the fears of judgment, who you are today, do you think that you can? You, exactly as you are today, could you handle 1 million followers on the internet and a $10 million business? She says it's a radical question. You want it and you wake up tomorrow with these results, but do you, as the person that you are today, without going through all the things that you need to go through, like the hate comments and the feeling, the sting of getting, this is what she says, the sting of feeling getting taxed at $75,000 or more dollars a year, right? And paying that tax. And that was just a random example. But she said, imagine if you're paying $5 million in tax, right? She said, sorry, I definitely phrased that wrong. She said that right now, the sting of getting taxed at $75,000 a year, and she was just giving that as an example of maybe what you might be experiencing. She says, imagine if you're paying $5 million in taxes. She says, all the things that you need to have, all the experiences that you need to have, building towards 1 million followers and building towards a $10 million business, they're all going to happen along the journey, slowly along your journey, and they're all needed in the process, so stop rushing it. And I just thought that that was so good. And I'm so grateful that came into my mind, because it is so powerful. Every single thing that's happening to you right now is supposed to happen so that you can become who you need to be to handle the success that you want in the future. And I believe in God. And so I actually relate this back to trials in life. And I've taught my students this and talked to them about this a bunch of different times inside of scalability. But when you are going through a trial, you're always asking, why me? Why is this happening? Why? But for me, over the years, I have learned, and it's not always easy to do this, and I think it's the same exact in business, but I've really tried to ask, instead of why me, asking what are the lessons that I need to learn here? And once you exit that trial, because it will end at some point, and usually not in the time frame that you want, which is also so applicable to the lessons in business as you scale. It usually is not going to happen in the time frame that you want. But usually after you exit that trial, you look back and you're like, I'm so grateful that I went through this for XYZ reason. Maybe it's to help someone else. Maybe it's because you learned a new skill. Maybe it's because it expanded your capacity. Whatever it might be, you're so grateful for that. And I think that that's the exact same thing that happens in our business journey. It usually doesn't happen on the time frame that we want, but we're learning these lessons that allow us to better serve our people, to build a more sustainable business, to be able to impact the world in the way that we are meant to impact it. So that's what I leave you with today, is if you're sitting in this feeling, maybe it's, at the end of the year, like I am right now, or maybe it's, you're listening to this episode just at a hard time in your business, instead of asking, why me? Why am I not where I want to get, where I want to go? Asking yourself, what are the lessons that I can learn here? And how can I simplify and make the amount of money that I'm making even easier at this level right now? Because that's how you're going to build a more sustainable business, and one that doesn't lead to burnout.